Hi, everybody. My name is Moses Rahlogo, and I sit on the board of trustees with Play with a Purpose. I'm so excited to share with you guys, to talk to you about parenting. My background is in education. I was a teacher and became a principal for a school in the Northwest called Lighthouse Christian College. Had lots and lots of fun, but one of my passions is in developing parents, is in partnering with parents to help us get to a better place and really just getting a lens of kingdom parenting. So I'm going to share with you guys a few ideas, and I think it's going to be fun. So let's jump in. The last time I presented this class, I asked a question. The question was, if you were planning a trip, if you are planning a trip, you and your family, you guys get in the car and you're going on a holiday, pick any holiday destination. Just think about Cape Town, Durban, Mpumalanga, the Kruger, wherever you want to go. Pick a holiday destination. Think you go in there for 2 weeks and try and imagine the packing list that you're bringing. So these are all the things that you're bringing. You've got a list. You've drawn out a nice, neat list of everything that you need, everything that your kids need, swimwear if you're going to be on the beach, all of these things. The idea is that we are packing for our destination. We are packing not just for the journey. So we're not just going to put in patkos and chips and everything that we will consume on our way there. But what we're actually trying to do is we are trying to pack for the destination. We're going to be in Cape Town for 2 weeks. So we're going to pack enough clothing to last us that 2 weeks journey. If we are visiting Cape Town right now, we know it's winter, it's going to be cold in Cape Town. So we are actually packing warm clothes for Cape Town. It doesn't make sense for majority of our clothing to be swimwear because it's cold. You're not gonna swim this time of the year in Cape Town. So it's this idea that we need to be packing for our destination. Now, if we were to think of life as a journey, and we thinking of the destination where we want to be, what are the things in our lives that we need to accommodate for? What are the things in our lives that we need to be mindful of? What are we packing in the storage of our life for where we headed? Now, I'd like to talk about three concepts or three things that I think are crucial for us as parents, especially in the year 2025, with a lot of confusion around identity and uncertainty in so many different ways. The first thing that I really want us to think about is our physical or home environment. What does our home environment look like? One of the most important things that we do as parents is to educate our children. Yes, I know we send them to school and we pay for school fees and we do all of these things, but the truth is the responsibility of educating your child lies with you. Now, you may outsource that responsibility and a portion of that also, not the whole thing, a portion of that responsibility we outsource to a school to say, Ma'am Magdalene, please teach my child arithmetic. Please teach my child spelling, how to read, all of these things. So we outsourcing a measure of our responsibility to schools, but that responsibility ultimately lies on our shoulder. So if your child does not know how to read and they are of the age that they should be reading, that responsibility ultimately is with you as a parent. Um, the environment in our home needs to aid where we are headed. So let's think of a home in which you open up the door and you walk in. What is the first thing that you see? One thing that troubled me as a principal is a lot of homes, when I visit homes of troubled young people in the school, one of the things that really shocked me is how the TV and living room space is what dominates the home. So if you walk into a home, the central part of the home where the people gather, there is couches and nice couches around and a coffee table, and right there in the center is a big screen. Now, for me, it's concerning because it means the screen is taking the central role of educating, the central role of entertaining, the central role of even communing. So we sit around the TV table and we enjoy the movies and whatever. I don't have anything wrong with enjoying media. I'm just saying, what picture are we painting with the physical layout of our homes? You see, if books don't matter to you as a parent, I will see it in the way your home is structured. Do you have a bookshelf? Do you read in front of your children? Do they approach reading as this thing they do when they're at school, or is there genuine love cultivated in the home for reading? There are things that we as parents can do to help shape and help mold the minds of our children, to help them think of education not just as this horrible thing that they have to wake up early in the morning for, but that it is a genuinely enjoyable part of life. That way, there is longevity in education. You know that they'll enjoy education tomorrow, they'll enjoy it next week, they'll enjoy it next year, they will enjoy it in university. So it's one of the things that we need to do is think and carefully consider our physical environment, our home environment. What does it look like? How are we setting up our home? Are we setting it up in a way that provides a launch pad for success for our children? Or are we allowing distractions in our homes to creep in and try and steal away from what the vision of this home is? The second thing is spiritual environment. As parents, we set the tone for the spiritual environment in our homes. We pray together, we worship together, we read the Bible together. And these are some of the things that help with character development. Is if my child sees me worshiping Jesus passionately at home and at church, it gives them the sort of the right. They feel, hey, this is what we do. This is what I do with my mom at home. This is what I do with my mom at church. This is what I can do at school. This is part of life. But if we don't cultivate an environment of thirst and hunger for God, for His Word, and for His presence, then we are robbing our children of an opportunity to learn from us how to set up a spiritual environment. So you may have a stable relationship, or you may have a growing relationship, you may have a good relationship with God, but I think we need to move into a place of discipling our children. So I was part of the discipline committee at school, and the way we view discipline is that discipline and discipleship are one in one. The word discipline actually comes from the word discipleship. So these two concepts cannot be divorced from one another. You cannot discipline without discipleship. It's just these two things walk and come hand in hand. They are intertwined. So we are to disciple our children. So second thing is spiritual environment. The third thing that I think we need to think about and consider is financial environment. The Bible says a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children. And I think there's something lacking in our community today in terms of leaving an inheritance for our children. Leaving an inheritance is more than just physical resources. It's more than just money. It's more than um, the house that you left them. It is the skill set that you impart in them to be able to generate wealth and to become great stewardship of what God has entrusted to them. So if you are going to be debt free as a parent, that principle is then transferred to your children as you teach them how to steward their resources, as you teach them how to move and act and work with finances. It is so important for us as parents to leave an inheritance that is eternal, an inheritance that will go further than money, an inheritance that will go further than what we we can buy our children, toys and earthly things. I think it is important for us to leave an eternal inheritance, and part of that is serving God with our money. Jesus says you cannot serve both mammon and God. You will have to choose one. And I think there is something about being a slave to the world system. I find it funny that the loan account that you have with the bank is called a bond. It's 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 not funny actually, but the idea is we need to be free to worship God even with our finances. We need to be free to set aside money and have this as a lifestyle so our children can see what it looks like to live within our means. A lot of us are trying to keep up with the Joneses. A lot of us are trying to attain to this unrealistic experience of Instagram life where you see people doing this and doing that. I was on this beach, I was sipping on this, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with taking a break and enjoying yourself. But I think us trying to live up to a life that we know we cannot maintain is false. And it is falsehood and is living in a place of falsehood. So the third thing is we need to carefully consider our financial environment. This means, do we actually prioritize our children's education? And I'm not just talking about paying school fees. I'm talking about buying books. Do your children have books? My oldest girl, when she was a baby, I gave her books. Not because she could read. No, I wanted her to develop a love for reading. I knew she was going to wreck the books. In fact, most of the books I gave her, I was like, ooh, uh, she's going to wreck these books. And so she tore out pieces from them. She drew and colored and messed these books up. But I wanted her to develop a relationship with books so that she could grow up in a house knowing that books are not something to be afraid of. And still this day, she loves reading. She reads all over the house. My youngest is too young to read, but my two girls, they love reading. This is a financial commitment that I've made, that I am going to make sure that I put money aside, even if it was uncomfortable. I wanted that new pair of shoes. Guess what? Daddy is going to put that money aside to benefit my child's future. And these are some of the things that we as parents need to think about. Look, so let's go back to the analogy of us being in a car and we headed down to the coast. In our car, we have packed enough provisions for the period that we are going there. We have carefully considered the route. We have calculated how much it's going to cost. And we are ready mentally, we are ready financially, and we are ready emotionally to take this journey. I want to ask, are you ready for this journey of parenthood, committing to a lifestyle of serving your children? Are you ready to committing to a lifestyle of being an example worth following? I hope this encouraged you. I hope it sparked some thoughts inside of your brain to start thinking about shaping and molding your life for the success of your children. I really, really am passionate about seeing parents overcome challenges and step into a kingdom minded way of raising our children. And I'd love to meet you in person one day. But for now, this is the best work we can do. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Bless you.